Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the March 16th, 2021 edition of Mini Numerology Past Life Psychic Dice Oracle Card Readings with Lindsay Knight. And we're just going to wait until we start seeing some people come in here. What I'd like to say to everybody is thank you very much for all the patronage and all the people coming into the store. And just in case you're wondering, I am Lloyd Woods and I am with the Ninth Vibration, and I am here with Lindsay Knight, who is also with the Ninth Vibration. But Lindsay wears a couple of hats. She does also the Hermit Numerologist. Good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining in. I guess what we wanted to say about the store, first of all, is that Guelph is still in what we call the COVID red zone, which means that we are limited as to what we can and cannot do. So we are not doing any kind of face-to-face readings at the store until we actually get into the orange status. Then we'll start doing some readings and start having some more fun at the store and getting some other readers in as well. Again, thank you all for coming in. We've been quite busy since the reopening, and we are having a lot of fun trying to keep up to all you guys, which is really cool. There is something else. If you are looking for that special gift, we're always bringing in new products, but we've also added a new service since the latest shutdown, and that is intuitive shopping. Basically, how that works is all you need to do is give us the birth date of the person you're trying to purchase for, and a spending limit that you want to maintain, and we can pick out intuitively some of the products that we feel will be good for that person. So for all you guys out there who are trying to figure out what to get your wife, or any good friends that you just want to give any kind of gift for, it's a unique and interesting way of doing this. So with that being said, we don't have any other readings coming through, so I am going to put things over to Lindsay.
Thanks, Lloyd.
And I've got my bell.
You do. Hi, everybody. It's Lindsay here. I gotta get wired up. Just so you know, if you would like a reading tonight, I didn't post anything until quite late in the day. So just so you know, it's 226-750-6534. So if you're interested in having a reading, please just text and we'll see if we can get to you this evening. I want to share something with you, okay? And I don't want to talk too long tonight, but Lloyd and I, as most of you guys know, thanks. As most of you guys know, I'm a numerologist, and there was something deep inside of me for a long, long time that kind of resisted the whole, zodiac thing and stuff. And it's like I completely honored it, but I never really connected with it. Like, I get a reading and I just left feeling more confused than anything. So anyways, long story short, Lloyd and I went to this little tiny store, and this spiritual store, and I'm telling you, I'm a changed female. Just so you know, we're going to be bringing this deck in, the Living Wheel. This deck was created by an astrologer named Patrick Fogarty. And the really cool thing about his deck, I'm going to just give you a quick, I'm going to be doing some readings. I need a few guinea pigs, so you have to watch for me. So this one section is all about the seasons, which is very, very cool. Another part of the deck is all about the planets, which I've always been about the planets. I've always been about the seasons, right? So, look at these cards. They're simple, but they're powerful. So I'm going to be doing some cool readings with those. It also has within the deck another of the houses, which is I mean, this particular deck has completely won me over. A little bit obsessive. It also has the constellations in it, which I love the constellations. I mean, so it's definitely brought this beautiful gift to me, and I'm so grateful to it. It also, but this is why I love it the most, it has the moon phases. So, just so you know, I'm going to be looking for guinea pigs. I do know, but I just like it. I'm going to do it my own way. My own little way. Right, Lloyd?
You got it.
So, yes. So, just so you know, it's just kind of a really fascinating deck. It has all this. It just has brought something to me, which is very, very cool. And so, all of that. So, other than that, do we have somebody texting in?
Not yet.
Okay, so if anybody wants a reading, what we can do is we're going to do, anybody out there, you got to text Lloyd for a read, 226-750-6534. And for the moment, I'm going to use the dice to see what kind of energy is around us tonight, and just where we're going to be working and who's going to be working with us. So here comes the dice coming at you. So first is number 2. So this is all about intuition. It's about our history. It's about our third eye. It's about our wisdom. It's about our injuries. It's about our records. And so no doubt this is all about just this beautiful intuition. So lots of intuition and development of that intuition, because we have, again, the 11 and the 12. So this is the development of intuition. And I would say that, no doubt in my mind, that's speaking to me. Just because of me opening myself up to this whole different and new but old dimension of myself. The other thing is I'm putting the end to something. So we've got a 10 here. So no doubt there's people out there that are watching, that are just kind of tuned in at the moment, that's drawn a line in their life in some area. And that doesn't necessarily mean it's easy. It can be the most challenging thing ever. When you draw a line, especially when you're trying to shed something that perhaps it's all you've done. So no doubt. Also, so we got the 2, the 11, and the 9. And so also the 9, which is again all about spiritual development, spiritual depth. It's all about kind of curiosity, looking deep into your soul. And so no doubt in my mind, there's some people out there that have got some deep spiritual questions. And if you have a very direct question, you can ask me. You know, I can see if I can do something for you just on a very direct. A lot of people have come to me in the last little while with very direct questions. So if there is a person out there that has a direct question, that would be very cool. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to do us a stick, man. We're going to do a stick to see what beautiful mantra we can say to ourselves at this particular time. Let's see. Oh, there it is. This says, you love variety and have a warm heart. And this is the energy of 7, which is all about, like, think about if you're a protector, or you're a nurturer, or you're a warrior, you're a goddess, or you defend other people, or you're an advocate, then no doubt in my mind, you may come across like a bit of a warrior, but no doubt deep down inside, you're just this really beautiful, gentle, loving soul that just loves big, big time. So yes, so there's a couple of little things. So yeah, very cool. Miss Edwards says we're hoping to finish something off very soon. This is a good time to have that happen. This is a manifestation time, so no doubt it'd be a good time to not only start things, but to end some stuff that doesn't work so much. So yeah, so we're good. So I'm going to do one more.
We have some people here as well.
Oh, do you? Okay. I'm going to do a past life draw. This is a message. This is a message for anyone out there, for all of us out there. And this is about where we're working. Yeah, we could do that too, you know, Lloyd.
What's that?
I'm just talking out loud. I'm just talking out loud, baby.
Okay.
Whoops. Gosh. So, hooks. Just so you know, this card is for some of us out there that may have people that are hooked into our field, or where we feel that we're hooked into something and we have no power, that we're kind of under its influence. So working with hook energy. And the cool thing about hook energy is that you literally can feel it. Like if you know that you're on the hook, then all you have to do is scan to try and find where that hook is in your field. And if you allow it to, it will speak to you and it will direct you. And there's not a hook on the planet that is good for us. Not at all. So, whenever you're ready, sweetie.
Okay.
Excellent. Okay. Oh, we're going here. And then we're going here. Doesn't feel like Tuesday, you know, seriously.
I don't know. It just feels kind of weird tonight for some
I know,
reason.
it's a
Hello.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Can you spell your first name for me?
Jade.
Jade. So this lets me know, looking at your name, if you look at your first letter, which is the cornerstone letter, do you see how it looks like a little hook?
Yeah.
And so this lets me know that most people that have a J letter in the very first in their name, and our name is really what introduces us to the world, is we come here with a burden, or they come with feeling just heavy, a heaviness, or they feel responsible. Like, does that make sense to you?
Yeah.
And what's really interesting is your soul essence letter, which is the A. This lets me know that you're also a bridge. So you feel responsible not just for perhaps the personal security of people, but that you also feel responsible to make sure that nobody's really at war with each other. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah.
And so like if this person isn't talking to this person, often you find yourself in between opposing forces.
Yeah.
So what do you do with that, love? Like how are you in that? What do you do?
Being like mutual friends with like a friend that's in a relationship, or all my friends are very different. I try and be the mediator, I guess.
Yeah.
And faithful.
Yeah, and see, like, and there's something inside of your spirit that believes this is your issue, that this is your job to sort it out. Like, would you agree?
Yeah.
That you can't even help yourself?
Yeah.
And all I'm saying is, of course you can. Say, I'm not doing that anymore. It's like, number one, it's exhausting. Number two, you know, it's like one of those things that is a complete distraction, because let's face it, you know, you bring three people together, there's a bit of a weird vibe, right? So just so you know, the other thing too is that you're a bit armored. Like, does that make sense to you?
Yeah.
That you have an armoring. So is your armor always up?
Pretty much.
Okay. And so what do you think the purpose of your armor is? Like, why is it there?
Just trying to protect myself from things that I've let harm me in my past.
Okay. And so like you understand that an armor will keep you, will shelter you, but the only problem is you cannot receive. Like, do you know what I'm saying?
That makes sense, yeah.
Yeah, you can't receive. I had this guy come to see me, he was a vet, and he couldn't understand why he couldn't draw a partner or a life partner to him. And it was really interesting because before he even came to our house, there was like this circle of animals and I didn't know he was a vet. And it was just so amazing to me because I knew he had armored himself to protect himself emotionally from what was going on in the animals in his clinic. And so there's no doubt in my mind that he was armored. And I said to him, if you armor your life there, you're going to armor yourself here. So I taught him a few things to do for his work and all that sort of stuff. Then he met a girlfriend. Then I never saw him again. Like, don't you think that's great? Your birth year, Jade?
Is 1990.
1990. Okay. And your month?
April
And your day?
14th.
Yeah, and see, like, you understand that you're a bit conflicted. Like, you walk in two worlds. There's a part of you that absolutely wants intimacy, and there's a part of you that really doesn't. Like, you kind of go between the two. Would you agree?
Yes, definitely.
And I mean, do you understand that you have a brilliant mind, and that for you, you're a visionary, that you come from the stars? There's two aspects that you have that come from the stars, and the other aspect comes from the earth, and it's very old. And it's almost like a nun, like there's a priest inside of you. And so this lets me know that you're very moral, and that you have a hard time, like there's a part of you that doesn't want to create trouble. Like, would you agree?
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's a part of you that worries that, about how people perceive you.
Yeah.
And then there's this whole other side of you that really doesn't care.
Yeah.
Like, don't you think
Like,
that?
the will happen. It depends the day.
I know, and I'm just here to say, like with you, it's like this is what Lloyd and I have, this funny kind of thing going on. Like, I bring in pendants to the store that are like this big. Why do I do that? Because do I think a tourmaline the size of a dime is going to help you? Not a chance. Like, do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like with you, I'd put black on you. I would put black, like tourmaline. I'd put onyx on you. I'd put a dark, heavy energy, because you understand when you get all wound up, you come out of your body.
Yeah, I act like irrationally.
Yeah. And so where do you go when you come out of your body? Like, where do you go?
I don't know. I kind of shut down, and then I don't realize that I'm being an asshole until I kind of come out of it, I guess.
But you want to know something? I just don't believe you. You do know you're being a bit of an asshole, and you can't stop yourself.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, like, nice try though. Like, did you hear that, Lloyd? Like, you almost had me convinced. But you want to know something? You're just so full of shit. Like, I mean, I knew when I came out of my body, and when I came out of my body, I was at risk. Like, I was completely at risk. So I want you to identify when you're triggered, because you're highly sensitive. Like, do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that there's a part of your soul that almost feels like you need to kick in your emotion through the energy of manipulation and triggers and bait and stuff. Like, does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, and you know what? You're in your spiritual truth here. This is such a good year for you. Last year you took a step. What step did you take last year? You would have done something different.
I don't know. It was like really back and forth in a relationship. I don't know. I can't really pinpoint anything that happened last year.
Okay, like, are you still in the relationship?
No.
Okay, something happened last year when you knew you wanted out.
Oh, yeah.
Okay? Yeah.
I went back and forth the entire time.
Yeah, and so, like, there's no doubt in my mind. And so this is your spiritual truth, because think about it. Here you're in a relationship that goes back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. So you tell me, how can you feel safe and protected and loved in that environment?
Yeah, I'm always on eggshells.
Yeah, I mean, what you need to date, or who you need to date, is like an oak tree. Solid, confident, like absolutely knows who he or she is. Do you know what I'm saying? And like, no doubt, 2016 would be a big year for you. 2016, 2007.
2016 was the year I got sober.
Oh, good for you. Like, you don't just wake up one day and say, you know what, I think I'm going to get sober. What happened?
It was just like a long time coming, from addiction, like going from drugs and alcohol. My family didn't want me alone with my little brother anymore, and that was kind of like when I realized how bad it actually had gotten.
Okay. 2007, 1998. So you would have been 8.
What year did you think it was? Oh, my parents might have gotten divorced around that time.
Yeah. Like right there. Like, look, I gotta be honest with you. I don't really care about alcohol. I don't really care about drugs. People, because that's what I used to do, right? I used to like drink and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And it's more about what they're trying to shut down. And with you, it would have been your mind, because we underestimate. Here's this beautiful little justice girl, highly sensitive, old soul, absolutely rooted in tradition and family and security. And she grows up in a very pulled environment. Would you agree?
Yeah.
Because people don't just wake up and go, you know, I think we're going to get a divorce today. There's a war that goes on. And so, no doubt in my mind, when you were 8 years old, you were divided. You were divided between the love of your mom and the love of your dad. And that's why you draw partners to you that make you go back and forth and back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah.
Like, don't you think that's the coolest thing ever?
Yeah, that's pretty interesting.
Like, I mean, seriously, like if I were to put somebody in front of you that didn't feed that, you wouldn't even bat an eye at that person. It'd be the one running around drunk and falling down that you'd go after. Like, do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I just think that that's really, I love that. Your mother's birth year?
1964.
Oh, she's a highly intuitive. She's a record keeper. And the month?
June 17th.
Oh my God, when you were drunk and loaded and high and all that, your mother didn't sleep. Like, do you understand that?
Absolutely. My mom didn't sleep my entire addiction, whether it was drugs or alcohol. Like, she was always waiting for a phone call.
Yeah. And there's no doubt in my mind. I mean, and her day. 17. See, there is no doubt. 10, 8, 9, 21, 2, 3, 4, 25. You know what you need to do? You need to do what I did with my mother, because your mother is my mother. In other words, if it weren't for your mother, you would not be here. If it weren't for my mother, I would not be here. She absolutely saved your life.
Yeah.
And she also drives you crazy. Like, I mean, you know, like, no doubt in my mind, even to this day, she drives you crazy just because she doesn't want anything to happen to you.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so, no doubt, let me ask you, when you split up with this guy, when you and him ended your relationship, did you go and numb yourself?
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah. And there's no doubt in my mind that it would have resurfaced a lot of fear in your mom.
Yeah.
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 There's no doubt in my mind.
Just the type of person he was, I think, worried her, because he drank and he partied, and yeah, he worried her for sure.
Yeah, and so like, just so you know, like, honestly, it's not that you just don't need that. Like, if there's chaos, red flags around somebody, it's like, no thank you. Like, absolutely no thank you. And if I were you, I would put tourmaline on you and I would not take it off. And I would really revisit. I mean, you're in a year of spiritual truth. I'm going to do the dice for you, okay? Let's see. It's so good. Okay, so for you, it's kind of neat. Look at this. I love it. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Which means whatever path you are on, what kind of path are you on right now?
Definitely a spiritual, like, coming into a whole new person. I'm all about my tarot cards and my crystals and my plants and happy, like,
Yeah, trust me, it's all lined up. Here's the 8, here's the 9, here's the 10, here's the 11, here's the 12. So this is to confirm for you, for your heart, for your soul, that you are on the exact same path. No matter what has gone on in your life, it needed to happen in order to place you in the space that you're in right now. Like, is that not the coolest thing ever?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Makes it all worth it.
Yeah. And so, like, I mean, with you, it's just, I know, I don't want you to get stuck too much in your head. I want you, like, I do believe that, you know, often what happens when we numb ourselves through certain situations, it's because we don't know how to feel what's going on with us. And so we, even if it's the best thing we ever do is break off with somebody, if we don't feel the loss of it, it's just because we're numb. And I don't want you to numb yourself. I want you just to be honest and real. Like, even if it's the worst relationship ever, you're still entitled to go through a grieving process. Like, does that make sense to you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Definitely.
And it also feels like there was another male that has left your life kind of quickly. Who was the male?
Now it left my life quickly.
Yes.
I say even maybe my mom's ex-boyfriend Al.
Okay. Okay. Because you understand you've had quite a few men leave.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so do you see how that going back and forth and back and forth and back and forth is a part of your soul resisting, confronting that you don't trust male energy?
It's definitely something I'm starting to learn. People in general, I'm having a hard time trusting. Anything that's not an animal, I'm really iffy with.
Yeah, and at the same time, you know, like I hear what you're saying, and all I know is this, is can I trust you even though I don't know you? Absolutely. Why? Because I know who I am. You can't take anything from me that's of value. So often when we believe that we can't trust people, really deep down inside, it's just that we don't trust ourselves. Like, does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
So I want you to get some nice basil happening, singing bowl, tourmaline. Yeah, we'll use them, sister, and use them on your mama too, because she could use it. I'm telling you, straight up.
Can you talk to her after this?
If she texts in, I can.
Okay.
Okay, love? Okay, thanks so much for texting in.
Thank you so much, bye.
Okay, Jade. Bye, love.
Bye.
Hi. That's so sweet, eh? Give a little of that to mama. I need a drink. Perfection. Okay, Lloyd, whenever you're ready, sweetie.
Okay, here we go.
See, I didn't think we'd even have a lineup tonight because I forgot to post because I'm negligent.
Always seems to fill in.
Thank you, my love. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Hi, how are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. Can you spell your name for me?
Why? Who's calling?
Oh, sorry. I'm doing a live feed. Did you text in to have a reading done?
You know what? I think Amy did that, and I just wasn't home yet, and she didn't know. I'm so sorry, I was confused. Because it's funny, I was just reading I'm just driving here. I can pull over.
Well,
sure, well, if you want.
You told me you were going to do this, I just didn't realize what time it was. Sorry, caught me off guard there.
So is this for you or is this for Amy?
It was for me, but she called before me.
Okay, well, you might as well pull over, okay?
Sure.
Okay, as long as you can pull over safely.
Yeah, I'm going to pull over to the gas station right now.
Okay.
Is it private, or is it just us, or is everyone listening?
Everyone's listening, but trust me, it's all good. We're all angels. How do you spell your first name?
It's B-R-O-O-K.
Okay. And so, like, you understand that you have a tendency to kind of compartmentalize your life. So you keep your emotional part of your life very separate from, like, say, your work or your emotions. Like, you compartmentalize things.
I would say that's fair to say, yeah.
Okay, and would you also agree that there's a part of your soul that very early in your life was wounded?
Yeah, I guess so.
Okay, and it's not like you had to been, struck by lightning, but there would be a wounding inside of you, and because you see how you have two O's in your name, this is the letter configuration for people that are shaman. And people that are shaman typically are injured or broken in some way, or struggle with their doubt, like or their goodness or their power. Like, does that make sense to you?
Absolutely.
And that you are a person, in fact, that people come to because you're very calming and you have this beautiful energy that sort of, inspires and promotes and nurtures other people. Yeah, and so and so there's no doubt in my mind, like, just so you know, like, there is a shaman that's inside of you, and and you walk your own path. Like, you're a teacher, and just so you know that you walk a very unique path. Your birth year?
1985.
Okay. And your month?
February.
Wow. See? Do you see what you have? Two of the highest, the most important spiritual numbers to me so far. 5 and 2. Like, do you understand that you're a shaman, that you have shaman medicine inside of you?
No, but that's pretty fascinating.
Okay, I want you to think about this. Would you, you're the type of person that has great spiritual depth.
Absolutely.
And that you're a person that really doesn't come from a place of judgment. You're more in a place of curiosity.
Yeah, for sure.
And that if you were driving down the street and someone needed help, that you would stop and pull over if you could.
Well, I'll tell you a funny story how you was bringing that up, which is really tripping me out. This morning I went down to my car to get a coffee, and there was this man walking with his he had one of those service dogs.
Right?
And he just dropped and had a seizure.
Yeah.
Grand mal seizure right in front of me, and I obviously ran over to him, and he was banging his head off the pavement. So I had to put my arms underneath his head, and I called 911.
Yes.
That's what, yeah, like, my car was still, not even on the driveway yet, and he just dropped me. I jumped over my car, and then I had to, for 10 minutes hold this guy, and it was weird you said that, because that just literally happened to me, hours ago.
Yeah. And I'm here to say that, think about your energy during that time. You didn't panic. You didn't question nothing. You knew exactly what to do. And there's no doubt in my mind that you were talking to this person at that time.
Yeah, I was rubbing his back and stuff like that.
That's right. Like, do you hear me? Like, do you think it's a coincidence that happened to you earlier today and that you're sitting and talking to me tonight?
It's just baffling, crazy.
Okay. Your day of birth?
The 9th.
Yeah. You want to know something? Okay. You need to look at other stuff that I've done, because in almost any video you'll catch me saying 2, 5, 9 are the most important numbers for me. 2 speak of past life. 5 speak about your soul contracts. And 9 speaks about a spiritual leader. And you embody all three. All three of those numbers. What you need to put on your body is you need to put on a mala. And that mala will bring you into kind of almost regress you back, because you will understand that you're an old soul.
Wow.
Yeah. And it's no doubt 10, 9, 21, 2, 3, 4, 12. And you want to know something? In a past life, I guarantee you were a soldier. And there is no doubt in my mind that you came to this life feeling responsible, and that you try to save, and that for you, you believe in your heart that you have to prove your worth.
Always, yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
And what if you don't? What if you don't?
if I don't?
Yeah, what if you don't have to prove who you are?
That'd be nice.
Yeah. Well, I'm here to tell you, you don't have to prove who you are or how good you are or how kind you are. All you have to do is be yourself and trust that you bring the best of yourself forward. Because, like with you, I'd put a mala on you. That's what I would do. Hang on one second. I'm going to do a calculation for you. So this is a year where you're shedding. You're trying to let go of stuff. So tell me, something happened last year. What happened last year?
Well, I just had 2 kids. They moved 2 hours away, and just got them back. Like, they just moved back to Kitchener. So I was kind of went through a little depression there, and then COVID happened, lost my job, and lots of stuff.
Right? And so, and
Lots of work with kids and stuff.
right? And so in that time, who was there for you? Like, who was really there for you?
My mother. I'd say my mother and father, I guess.
Who else?
Maybe my brother. Trying to stick to some family, but
Yeah. And I'm here to say, like, I mean, there's no doubt in my mind, this is a year for you. Like, I mean, with you, this is what I say about spiritual leaders. Like, for you, you had to weather a storm. Like, think about it. Think about everything you just said. I mean, just take one of those things. That's enough. But you had them all on top of each other, correct?
yep, still going on.
Yeah. And I'm here to say, like, there's no doubt in my mind that you have an opportunity just to kind of restore it. It's like not to battle, not to question. And so you said that your children moved away?
So yeah, like split up, and then I moved in with. So I have a 4-year-old, and when my daughter was 2 months old, they moved to Palmerston, and then I wasn't able to see my kids. And then because she was breastfeeding, I went from seeing my kids every day to like 4 days a month, and I couldn't even see the kids 4 hours a month.
Right.
And then they moved back in July. Went back to work in June. All of a sudden I had the kids every day since June, and then up until like last week, she put the kids in school and daycare, and now she won't even let me see the kids.
Right.
Other than my weekends, so now I'm going back to court for more access. It's just a nightmare.
Yeah. And I'm just here to say, like, I mean, I just don't want you to sort of like, I mean, let me put it to you this way. Chariot males do not have children with just anybody. Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, they just don't. And they don't kind of commit to a relationship for it to fall apart. And there's no doubt in my mind that there's a part of you that just doesn't know how to deal with not having control.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I'm just here to say, good for you. Like, you might as well figure that one out. Because in a lot of ways, there's no, like, I mean, there's certain things that happen where we don't have control, right? Your ex's name?
What's that mean?
What is your ex's name?
Oh, ex's name. Oh, sorry. I thought you said Kristen.
Okay. And birth year?
She is 1989, I think.
Okay. And her month?
July
And her day?
13th.
Okay. And so, just so you know, you have a past life connection. And I mean, like with you, it would be really good for you maybe to reach out at some point, because I guarantee, like, you have an opportunity to be a leader in your life. Like, I mean, this is the one thing I would say to you. I understand that you believe you're in a war at the moment, but the one thing that you don't want to do, even if it is being directed at you, you do not want to in any way, like, put any pressure on your children to choose between their parents. Like, would you agree?
Absolutely.
And so, and it's just being in the balance of that, because there's no doubt in my mind that with your ex is that she is just trying to figure out who she is as well. Would you agree?
child support because I had access to the kids. I was the primary caregiver. And then she's trying to garnish my wages while looking after her kids. And then when that got brought up, all of a sudden she's like taking the kids and going based on that previous court order that is now going to have to change because of the age of my kids and that I'm able to, be around the kids. And now she doesn't, she's pulling that card. So it's like lawyers are fighting and talking, and it's just confusing.
Yeah, and I mean it's one of those processes that deep down inside, just staying very calm in the storm is the best thing that you can do. Because I mean, it's one of these things. I have a good friend of mine who, well, he's not this really good friend, but he's a judge in a courtroom, in a big courtroom, okay? And he all he deals with is family issues. And he says, yeah, and all he said to me this one time is that the person that comes into his courtroom that is obviously very neutral, not angry, very concerned about their children, those are the best leaders for the children, right? Because it's like, and so I want you just to know, like, just trust. And I mean, if you do decide that you want a reading, I'd be able to do all the dates of your children and all that sort of stuff in a more in-depth way.
We can have a schedule so we can both work and take care of our kids without having to
Yeah.
all this stuff, right?
Yeah. And see, I'm just going to pull a past life card for you, okay? So this lets me know that in a past life, you were outcast. So this would be where you were sleeping on the streets, where you would have lost all your money, where you would have had a very difficult time, and this would be in your past life. So there's no doubt in my mind that this whole situation, it's brought up a lot of abandonment and that loss. Like, would you agree, insecurity?
For sure.
Yeah, for sure. This also lets me know that your vow of commitment, I mean, do I think that there's a bit of resentment and anger because it wasn't supposed to go this way? Like, that's not what the plan was. And so really looking at that and that union and that connection, because not only did it's complicated. You didn't just lose your children or access to your children. You lost a partner. You lost the potential of having something. So it's not that we're just dealing with the end of a relationship. Like, does that make sense?
I have to live a practical life. Like, gotta watch what I say. I gotta say this in order to get that, because if I say this, I won't be able to talk to the kids for 2 weeks. So it's like, and then it's like, the moment I try to, I'm gonna, try to work or whatever, because I'm self-employed, and then COVID happened, so that screwed that up, because of your renovations.
Yeah.
So kind of money went crappy there, but then it was okay because I was like, at least I could see my kids and hang out with them, and all of a sudden planning around that, and it's like, okay, well, it's time to get back to work, put the kids in school, the daycare thing, and it's like, I can't organize or plan anything, and it's very stressful.
Well, all I know is that you're in a year of truth and you're in a year of being able to shed things. So I think you're doing the right thing, but it's more the adjustment. Like, it definitely is. Also, it lets me... Yeah, it also lets me know that it's caused you just to kind of spin. And so one thing I definitely would do is just do some shamanic chanting or something that's going to bring you back in your body so that you're just really present. But I must go, Brooke. I hope, did this reading help you?
Yeah, it was really amazing, actually.
Yeah, well, I want you just to do some shamanic chanting and just be very present and just trust in the process. Like, just trust in the process. You're going to, like, I don't want to say the worst is over, but last year would have been a very difficult year for you. And so this year is really more the adjustment of everything that went on.
Have the kids every day, so it's like I have a lot of time to myself. Now it's like, what do I do with my time,
Yeah, it's a big adjustment. But anyway, so thank you very much. Thank you very much, and thank you for pulling over.
Thank you.
Okay, you take good care. Okay,
Have a good night.
okay, you too.
Bye now.
Yeah, that's like heavy, eh? It's like being in a situation where you don't have a lot of power, and it's like I just feel for him, but that's why he's just got to be more clear and just, just stay calm.
which is very difficult to do in that situation.
Yes. Okay. Am I doing Lloyd all right?
You're doing okay.
Okay.
I'm running a little over, but
Uh-oh.
ring that bell a little harder.
Yes. Thank you, my darling.
How are you?
Hi, how are you?
I'm okay, thank you.
Okay, good. Can you spell your name for me?
That's Laura, Laura.
Yeah. And see this? Like you understand that you're a highly sensitive spiritual soul.
Yeah.
And that you have this real spiritual depth to you, and that you walk with a guardianship. And I mean, you have 3 vowels in your name, which means there's depth to your soul. Also, with your first letter being that this is your cornerstone letter being an L, like, do you see, you show me your spine, and then you sort of show me that you have a bottom line. So this lets me know that you're a person that definitely is, when you say something, you mean it, that you're a person that definitely knows who you are or knows how to assert yourself. Would you agree?
Yeah.
Okay, your birth year?
1964.
Okay, so this is a record keeper. Where I need to go is I need to go straight to your mother. Your mother's birth year?
I'm 99% sure it's 1945.
Okay, and the month?
November
And the day?
6th.
Okay, so you understand as a child you were contracted to absorb the emotion of your mother.
What does that mean?
That means that when you were developing inside of her, do you have any idea what was going on with your mom when she was pregnant with you?
Yes.
Okay, and like, would you agree that whatever was going on was causing anxiety?
Very much so.
And you understand, like, let's think about it. March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November. From now into November, that's how long of time that we're in the body of our mothers. That's a long time. And so do you see that there's an anxiety from the inside out with you?
Mm-hmm.
Okay? And so, and it kind of roots in your stomach and your mind.
Mm-hmm.
And that there's a part of you that believes that you need to be prepared, so your mind is ahead of your life.
Very much so.
Okay, so if I were to ask you, what are you preparing for?
Bad stuff.
Don't you think that's great? I mean, like, think about it. How do you know that there's bad stuff coming?
I just feel it sometimes.
Yeah, and all I'm saying is, it's because that's how you came into this life, and that's what you're contracted to feel. Like, it's, and so it's really being able to see that there's, and you can't even help yourself. Your month?
My month is August
Okay, and your day?
31st.
See that's really interesting. Like, not only do you absorb and hold the energy of your mother and her whole path, you also absorb and carry the ancestry and the records of the father. Like, does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, and do you know what that means?
No, not really.
I can tell you that you came here with a job, and your job was to hold the records of what went wrong in your family.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm here to say that when we enter into a contract really early in our life, we don't have the power to negotiate the terms of that contract. Like, do you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And you see how you do now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's good. I like how you go, Like, you know what I'm saying?
I do.
Good. Your father's birth year?
Is 1943.
Okay. And the month?
April
And the day?
1st.
Oh my God. Good luck. 7, 8. Like, you understand what I'm saying between your mother and your father.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Like, as long as you get it, and right off the bat, that just puts you into a real difficult space. Would you agree?
Yeah.
And so there was a division between your mother and your father. So tell me, who did you side with?
I was forced to make a choice.
And who did you
My
choose?
mom, and I went with my mom.
Yeah. And you want to know something? That's damaging.
It is.
Because it robbed you of a relationship with your father. And I'm not in any way dismissing or like judging your mother. Any parent, like, did you hear me talking to Brooke?
Yes.
Okay? And this is what Brooke is dealing with right now, is there is this division. Like, do you have children?
Yeah.
Okay? Could you imagine looking in the face of your children and getting them to choose who to side with?
No.
Yeah. And so do you...
I consciously chose not to do that.
Yeah. And I'm
With
just...
my own force.
Yeah, and I'm just here to say to you, you know, like, if you had not gone through what you went through, you wouldn't know that. And so it's like really being able to appreciate. So when you chose to go with your mother, did your father disappear?
My older sister went with my dad. I went with my mom.
Okay.
My younger sister was the only one who went in between.
Yeah.
And my mom would speak to us if I spoke to my father, then I was dead to her.
Yeah. And do you see what I'm saying? Do you hear what you're saying, love?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Because no doubt in my mind that you in this year get to heal that. And I'm so sorry that, because it wasn't just you being divided with your father, right? It was you being divided between your mother and your father and your siblings. So that's what I call a fracturing of the spirit. It's a fracturing of the home. It messes with your security. It messes with your guilt. It messes with all of that. And it's just really wild. My dad, I sided with my mom, okay? I sided with my mom. And I remember when my dad looked at me and said, Lindsay, you loved your mom more than me. I said, oh my God, Dad, I didn't. I love both of my parents. So just so you know, it's like quite a burden. So did you maintain a relationship with your dad?
I didn't speak to him for about 10 or 12 years until I finally grew a pair.
Right, and?
Told my mom that a marriage is marriage, a child-parent relationship is different. I choose to have a relationship with my dad, so she disowned me for a bit.
Yeah. And you want to know something?
And I told her that's her choice.
Yeah. And you want to know something? I got to be honest with you. Your mother shares the same energy as me. And I can tell you, there was no doubt in my mind that there were times where I felt the same with my daughter and her biological father. The only difference between your mother and me is I just couldn't do it. I just could not do it to her. But I was angry enough, but I knew that I couldn't do that to her. So, I mean, there's no doubt, because with your relationship with your father, you came here to save him. That was your contract. And this is what I want you to say. It's like really amazing. I'm so proud of your courage to stand up and say, I want to see my father. I need to connect with him. I'm no longer going to do this. And if she gets cranky, she gets cranky. Like, either she comes around or she doesn't come around. But I mean, it's one of those things that all of us need. This is what I believe. 3 things we need in this life, kind of as we develop growing up. We need the love and expression of love from our mothers, the love and expression of love from our fathers, and seeing the 2 of them loving each other. It's all we need. If we don't receive those 3 things, it messes with our security. It messes with how we feel about ourselves. It completely changes what our definition of love feels like. It divides us. And I'm telling you straight up, if I had the power, I would change all that happens in a court of law between the division of assets and family. That's what I would do. It's so damaging. Yeah. And so just so you know, okay, and I want to just do a calculation for you, 3, 4, 5, 6. See, this is a really restorative year for you. This is where you get to restore your power. It's where you no longer have to be torn through two opposing kind of forces. And last year was a shedding year. What did you shed last year? And that would be connected to 2019.
2019.
Yep.
I can't think of anything.
Okay. Hang on one second.
Jobs, I didn't move.
Okay. There's no doubt that there would have been a change with you spiritually. Hang on. And it would be connected to 2013.
Oh, 2013, that was my divorce.
Okay.
Or almost divorced. Then
Yeah.
a year later,
Like-
actually divorced.
Don't you love that? Like, don't you love that? It's like,
Yeah.
you know, there's no doubt in my mind, in 2013, that would have been a huge spiritual year for you. 2014 would be a year of adjustment. Like, you wouldn't even been in your body.
Very much.
You would have questioned everything. Who loves you? Who doesn't love you? Who is there for you? You would have questioned everything. Then in 2015, you would have pulled all of your energy inside to figure out what to do. And then in 2016, you would have planted a seed. And so, like, this is what's really wild. I mean, in 2013, I guarantee you didn't even have the ability or the environment to be able to mourn the loss of your relationship and the dissolving of your family. Would you agree?
I would agree.
That's right. And it's because we have to take care of our children, or we have to work, or we've got to pay our mortgage and all that sort of stuff. So just so you know, is this will be really the first year you'll be able to take a breath. Like, does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. And your ex's name?
John,
Okay. And his birth year
62.
and the month
October
and the day.
16th.
Oh my, he kept you quite nervous, on your toes.
Mm-hmm.
Like, no doubt in my mind. Like, why do you...
Not a bad person, just a little messed up.
Yeah, like, I mean, he just, no doubt, all of your energy would have been
I'm a
sort of...
fixer and I couldn't fix that.
Yeah, 8, that's right. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 2005,
Yeah.
1996.
Yeah.
Let me see. 1987.
Yeah.
Okay. 1978.
Yeah.
1969.
I would have been 5.
Yeah.
So do you want to know if any of those dates have significance? or
Yes, yes. 1969, 1978, 1987, 1996, 2005, and then 2013. Just so you know, they're all kind of connected.
Oh. Yeah, they have some significance.
Yeah. And so even this, you get to restore. You know, because that's the one thing with you, like, you understand that you were silenced in kind of like a shame and responsibility, that you always, because you're so intuitive and because you have this great empathy, that you had the ability to feel the energy of other people. And so your energy or your needs or your thoughts or your feelings became secondary. Would you agree?
Yeah.
And so
Very much so.
that's what you get to change this year. It's like you
Yeah.
need to go get a t-shirt that says, I am this year. And it's
Yeah.
where you just get to say, like, this is, I want to put myself first. And there's no doubt in my mind that you're prepared to do that, which is just very, very cool. Let me do the dice on you.
Actually, I met a wonderful man about 5 months ago.
Okay, let me give me his dates. I need to know his name.
Terry
Okay. And his birth year
is 1970,
and his month
June
and his day.
13.
Okay. See, I kind of like that. I do like it, but let me ask you, does he have, like, when he gets upset, does he pull away?
No,
Okay, that's good.
I haven't seen him get upset yet. He's just a very laid back person.
Yeah, does he have warm hands?
Yes.
Yeah, and can he put you out?
Could he put me out?
And I mean in the way that he calms you.
Oh, yeah.
then I would say he's a keeper. Like I guarantee you made a prayer, and this prayer would have happened in 2019, and so but you were not. Oh, I'm sorry, 2018, but you weren't ready for him then, and so that's why it took a little bit for you to be able to come into your own, and that's why you're in a very restorative year. And I mean, like, there's no doubt in my mind. It's very cool. Hang on one sec. I just want to see what vibration he's in. See that? Ah, he's in lovers. I'm going to put a little heart all around that. I mean, I guarantee that he just loves you. I mean, there's no doubt in my mind. And so, you know, it's like, but here, this is the one thing I want to say to you. Were you married before?
Yeah.
Okay? So what you need to do, like, and you understand, like, when you got married, you did not get married to get divorced. Would you agree?
Yeah.
And when you said your vows, like that, you actually at the time meant them.
Yeah.
And so there's a part of your spirit that still feels married. So what you need to do is release yourself from the vows.
Okay.
Okay? It's like release them. Okay? What day did you get married?
May 17th, 86.
Yeah, you want to know something? You were out of your body when you got married. You weren't even in your body.
I hate to say it, but I have to agree.
Yeah, you weren't even in your body. Like, I'm telling you, if you could have, the day before, you would have run. But you couldn't.
I
Because
don't know
why?
My mother asked me this, but just before we left for the church, she said, "Are you sure you want to do this?"
Yeah, and I'm here to say to you that you knew in your soul that but you didn't know how to shut it down. So, like, I just want you to release yourself from your vows, because I like a hermit with good warm hands. The fact that he's tearing, no doubt in my mind, you got to poke at him. You got to ask him questions and poke at him. Okay?
Yeah.
Next time, get him to text in. I'll do a reading for him.
Okay. I will.
Okay, thank you so much, Laura.
Thank you very much.
Okay, love. Bye for
Have
now.
a good night.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Lloyd, can I talk to you a little bit about that bell?
Nope.
And about the energy of the bell? May I have the book? I see things floating all around me. Like, I've been seeing things floating around me all night.
Mm-hmm. There have been.
They're happy with me. They're my little guardians. They're some, or us. Could be ours. Okay. That was funny when I didn't think that guy, I thought I dialed the wrong number.
Hello.
Hi, is this Susan?
Yes, it is.
Atson, can you spell your name for me?
SUSAN.
Okay. And your birth year?
1961.
Okay. And the month?
October.
And the day?
15.
Okay. And so there's a female that has passed around you. Who is the female?
My mom?
Okay. And her birth year?
42.
Okay. And it almost feels as if she has a younger female with her. Who is the younger female?
Maybe her sister?
Yes, okay. I'm sorry, her birth year is 1942, and her month?
Yeah. January.
And her day?
7.
Oh my, you want to know something? You two share the same energy, like you understand that.
Yes.
That you have this soul energy, like there's no doubt in my mind. Like I guarantee that you walk together as like it's like your bond is very, very old. And so just so you know, and like it's kind of like this push-pull, so you like really love her and really connect, but there'd be times where she just drove you crazy.
Yeah. More not crazy that often though.
No, but I mean it just like because you understand that she had a lot of anxiety and a lot of fear.
Yes.
And that your job was to soothe that.
Right.
Okay? And so then what happens is then she's no longer, in a state of anxiety. So what have you done with yourself since her loss?
Oh, as far as
just in terms of, you know, like with your life. I mean, because think about it. You tell me, how long did you worry about your mom?
Oh, a long time, like a few years.
Yeah, and I guarantee that you worried about her even before you were born, because in 1961, your mother was in a chariot year, which means that you came here to balance and kind of protect and advocate for her. Would you agree?
Yes.
Yes. And so then what happens is that that person passes away. Then what do you do with yourself? What year did your mom pass?
2013.
Okay, just one sec. See
Sorry,
this?
2012.
Okay. And it was what day again?
That she passed?
Yeah,
November the 21st.
November 21st.
Yeah.
Just one sec. See this? Okay, just so you know, she was out of her body the day she passed. Like she was complete, no pain at all.
Oh, that's good.
Okay, like she was completely out of her body. If you look at, like, do you see this? Like, this is neat. If you look at the numbers 20, and you look at her, she's 2012, correct? And then 2111. Like, if you look at them, they're all twos and ones. Do you notice that? Do you see how they're all twos and ones? You got 3 2s, and then you got 3 1s, and then you have another one. And so just so you know, like she wasn't even in her body when she passed. And so like, and let me just see what was going on with you in 2012. Oh, and that's a past life, just so you know. So this is going to be kind of a weird question, but when was the very first time as a child, do you remember having a fear about something happening to your mom?
Oh, gosh. I don't think I would remember that.
Like,
I'm not sure.
Isn't that amazing? Like, it's amazing. Like, I mean, there, and you understand that there was a grip attached to this love, and that grip was also kind of bound with fear. Like, does that make sense?
Totally.
10, 12, yeah. And this year, this is where you get to plant a seed. Last year, you would have pulled deep inside of yourself. 2019 would have been a year of an adjustment. And then 2018, what was going on with you in that year? 2018.
2018. I don't think. No, I don't. Doesn't ring up like a, just a normal, work, kids, grandchildren, nothing.
Okay. 2009.
9. Oh, geez. I'm getting old. I can't remember, Lindsay. 9. I'm sorry. I have a blank. I'm not sure.
That would be 3 years before your mom passed. And then 2000, 1991 would be another big year.
91. Well, I had 2 kids in 1991.
Yeah, they're on your path. 1982.
I was finished school and college.
Okay.
I was in college.
Okay. 1973, you would have been 12.
That's the year that my parents split up.
That's right. So, you worried about it before then, but just so you know, in 1973, this is where, like, you just came right out of your bounds. Like, you understand that, right?
Okay.
Okay? And so, like, and because you're so intuitive, and because you could read your mom just like you could feel her energy, like, there's no doubt in my mind, that is when you were very divided. And so it's about the anxiety inside of you that you kind of fuel, right? And this is connected to 1964, so you would have been 3 years old.
Okay.
Did you have a sibling born when you were 3?
No.
Okay.
When I was 2.
So when you were 3, something would have happened. Were you the firstborn?
No, 3rd.
Okay. And so like here, and so was your last sibling, was that the last born?
No.
Okay, because it's just all I know is when you were 3 years old, something would have happened, and there's no doubt in my mind. Like, think about your family, and think about who's the one that worried the most about the mother, and who do you think that is, or was?
Maybe, like, her mother?
No, you.
Oh, me. Oh.
Yeah. So I mean, it's like, and that's what's just really amazing is this year you get to do things for yourself that you love. Like, no doubt in my mind, amazing mother, dedicated mother, all that sort of stuff. But this is the year for you. Like, does that make sense?
Good. Okay. Yeah.
And
that's
it's
good.
where I want you to really think about, and I don't want you to consider your children. I don't want you to consider anybody else. I want you just to think, like, what do you want to do? Like, what would you like to do for yourself? And that's what you get to do this year. You're also preparing for a step, and this is an empowered step. So just so you know, if you're looking, whatever it is that you're looking for more of in your life, this is the year that you get to cultivate and sort of plant the seeds to do that. So I want you to kind of come out of your comfort zone a bit. Last year you would have been sort of in a very introspective space. So if you want more joy in your life, plant seeds of joy. If you want more money, then I want you to plant seeds of fortune. If you want to say no now, more and authentically, then do it. So it's really where you get to create seeds that lead you into a place of empowerment. Does that make sense?
Yes. Yep,
Yeah.
Yep,
And so, like, I mean, there's no doubt in my mind. And is your father still alive?
No.
Okay.
No.
And so when did he pass?
In 1991.
Yeah. See, like right there, like think about it. That's a long time. That's a long time for you to be in a grip. And so I want you just to acknowledge, like, when you were upset, like, I guarantee your whole body speaks about your emotions. Like, does that make sense?
Yes.
So, like, you just get all clamped like this. And so when that happens, I want you to remember me, because whether you're gripped or clamped or kind of tight, it's not going to change what's going on around you. Like, does that make sense?
Yeah. Yes.
And there's no doubt in my mind, like, let me put it to you this way. I can remember this one time going out, and I was going out partying, and I was thinking to myself, I really, 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 really do not want to run into this person. And I swear to God, as soon as I was out, bam, there they were. Like, do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So if we believe in our spirit that we have to prepare for something terrible coming, do you see how we are manifesting that? And so you tell me, how do you stop doing that?
Just live authentically, I would guess.
I mean, like, that's what's just really neat with you, right? Like, it's where you have to be really aware that you don't want to do that anymore. It's like you just don't. Do I think you did when you were little? I believe that you did, because I think you felt responsible. But I mean, there's no doubt in my mind that this would be the year where you get to come away from that energy, because number one, it's draining. Number two, it just keeps you ahead of your life. And number three, you will manifest something that will support your energetic posture of preparing for something bad. It's called dread. And so if you were to kind of go back to where you were in the energy of dread as a child, that's where you can restore it. Like, if that makes sense.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Interesting.
Yeah. It's like, if you can go back there, there's a part of you that's addicted to being in that space. And nobody has said to you, you don't need to be in that space until now. I'm saying to you, you don't need to be in there. Okay?
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, great. Thanks a lot for texting, and keep us posted.
Thanks, guys.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Take care.
Hi, Lloyd.
Hi.
How's it going, sweetie?
Good.
Good one. I gotta move my paper for a minute, Lloyd.
Shh.
starting
Shuffle 'em up.
smoking.
Shuffle them up.
Okay, bring it on over. Thank you very much.
Here you go.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay.
The number you have called is not.
Uh-oh.
What is this? What did I call?
What's-
Let me try it again. It could
Okay.
be me. It says it's not assigned, so I'll go to the next one.
Okay.
Okay.
I'll double check the number.
Okay, no. Hi, how are you?
I'm good.
That's good. Can you spell your name for me?
Yes, it's Michelle, Michelle.
Okay. And your birth year?
The year is 1990.
Okay. And your month?
May
And your day?
26th.
26th? What's your day?
26th.
Okay. Wow. You want to know something? Like just about everybody I've read for tonight has a 5 as their life energy number. So this lets me know, like there's no doubt, like you understand there's an old soul inside of you.
Yeah.
And that for you, that you walk in two paths. So part of you comes from the stars and part of you comes from the earth. Like, does that make sense to you?
Yeah.
And so what kind of work do you do?
Work. Well, I've actually been laid off because of COVID, but I normally work in a supportive housing with babies.
Right.
So I'm essentially, I just work with young moms and just teach them how to parent their young children.
Okay.
Until they go, yeah.
Okay, and so there's no doubt that this year would be connected to, just one sec, 2012. What was going on with you in 2012?
Oh, 2012. That was everything.
Okay, so
That was like the year I got pregnant. I had I got pregnant that year, 2012.
okay, and what else was going on with you?
That was when I just changed the entire direction of my life. So I was in school at University of Guelph. I graduated, yes, but I initially wanted to be a social worker. But because I had gotten pregnant, I was like, no, I'm going to focus on being a mom.
Yeah.
I moved out of my parents' house. They weren't being supportive, so I just was like, no, I'm going to do this for me.
Yeah, and see what's really neat is I guarantee that this is the year you get to decide what you want to do, because you understand, although what the job that you're doing, there is definitely, like, you are getting something out of it, but there's something in your soul that's empty at the end of the day. Would you agree?
I don't know if it's a job, but I do know what you mean. I've been finding this year I'm happy about everything, but I don't know what I'm missing now.
I know, and I'm here to say to you that there's something inside of you that is empty, and it stemmed from whatever was going on with you in 2012. So it's just kind of interesting, and like that's what's so neat when you said, well, you know, I wanted to do this, but this person didn't support it, these guys didn't support it, so I did something else. Like, do you hear what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And all I know is this is the year you get to restore that. And I mean, you're also in a life purpose here. So this is where you really sort of look at, like, what else can you bring? Because I do believe that there is a part of you, I just think that you are going to do deeper work. like with the people that you're working for. Like, do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, like more, almost more soul work, and really digging deep. And it's all about empowerment, and it's all about like restoring people's balance. And so I just feel like you're going to bring it. And, you know, I just feel like there's something inside of you that needs to go deeper into the soul of the people that you're providing care for. Like, if that makes sense.
You know, it's funny. I had actually, at the start of this year, in realizing that I was actually very happy in my own life,
Yes.
I had told my husband I'm going to spend this year focusing on him and my son, where I'm like, I'm going to spoil you guys rotten this year, and I don't know why, but I'm going to do it.
Right.
And that's something.
And all I know is it's like there's a part of you that, I mean, you just have so much love to give, and you have all this ability to do the right thing. But I can see you working with a community, like some sort of a community, people that are kind of similar minded. I just feel like that something is going to change, that there's an opportunity, and it's going to challenge you a bit, and it's going to take you out of your comfort zone. But I think you're ready for it. Like, do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah. 2003 would be another year.
2000.
1994. So you would have been 4.
I don't know about 1994, but 2003 was actually the year I met my husband in high school. That was my first year of high school. I met my husband that year, and I met my first real friend.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Also,
And your husband's name
is Gary. Gary.
and birth year
1990.
and the month
January
and the day.
8.
Yeah, see, like that's just kind of interesting. And you met in 2003. So you have a soul contract with your husband, 1994. So, and I mean, because in 2000, like it's just really neat. So you have children or a child?
Just one.
Okay,
Child.
and your son's name?
Maximus.
Okay. And birth year?
2013.
Okay. And the month?
April.
And the day?
30th.
Okay. Wow, that's kind of neat. We're going to your father. Your father's birth year?
Oh crap, I screwed up my son's birthday. Oh my god, I was wrong. I'm so sorry. It's 2012. His birthday's 2012.
Okay. And 0430?
Sorry?
That would be April 30th?
Yes.
Okay. So, I mean, and so now we need to go to the mother. And we go back to the mother, but we also have to include the father. So your mother's birth year?
1966.
Okay. And the month?
December.
And the day?
31st.
Wow, that's neat. 3, 6, 7, 8, 9. And so, like, if you were to look at your mother's like her parents, okay, and you understand their legacy with her, okay, and so that's one side of the records that you would keep is with her, and then with the father, birth year.
My father?
Yes.
Okay, 1969.
Okay, and the month?
October.
And the day?
30th.
Wow, so you share a past life with your father and with your mother. And so can I ask you, was there any loss with the pregnancy on the mother's side?
My mom, she had a lot of miscarriages. actually.
Okay.
And at least one abortion.
Okay. And so just so you know, I can just feel that you carry that inside. And it's just being able to release that. Like, do you know what I'm saying? It's a complicated thing that, my daughter gave me something for Mother's Day. It was amazing. She gave me this text that showed that when my grandmother was pregnant with my mother, like I was there, my daughter was there, my granddaughter was there, my sisters were there. So we kind of carried the legacy of the mother and the ancestry of the feminine energy. So it's just kind of interesting, and it's kind of cool that you work with young mothers, and sort of restoring that. And I believe it is a contract. I just believe that you're going to sort of delve deeper in it, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
With your work. Yeah. Like there's no doubt that there's going to be an opportunity that's sort of where you just even promote it more. Like, are you back working now?
No, I haven't, but I've actually been thinking about it a lot. Like, I've been talking to my friends, trying to figure out what I can do. Like, this works so much.
Yeah. And so, like, I mean, it's just interesting because I think you're going to, I just think it's neat that you're taking this period of time, and I think it's a really good thing. But I also think that there's a part of you that just needs to stir stuff up. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, just where, because you like a challenge. Like you like a challenge, you like change, you like that whole energy of change and being versatile. Like you could not work at it like at a factory. Like there's no way in this world that you would last there for 3 seconds. So it's like about creativity and movement and change and all of that stuff. And one thing I definitely would suggest to you, I don't know if you read cards, but like you would be so good at it. And I just think that there's also that side that you're ready to kind of develop even more as well. Let me do the dice on you. Let's see the dice. See, this is what's really cool. Double threes. So, I mean, if you're thinking about having another child, I mean, there definitely is that energy in the air around you. And I mean, also you had the family dice, the number, which is 5. So I don't know if it's something that you are considering. All I know is it's kind of out there. Also, there's also an 8, which is all about advocating. And then a 10, which definitely is where you've changed something or something has stopped. And so there's an adjustment period. Like, have you thought about having another child?
It's I was telling my husband I'm finally emotionally okay to have another child, but no, we're not going to have another one.
Yeah, and all I know is that there's just something around that energy, and that's why the dice kind of came up. And so just so you know, so do you think you're going to have another child or just one?
No, we're definitely not going to have another one, but it's interesting because it has not come up in 9 years, and it's come up like this past month, just like.
That's what I'm saying to you, sister. Yeah. It's 2021 to 2012. Like, I mean, and there's no doubt in my mind, right? And it's like, just so you know, it's like, and it's where you've got to be real about what that means, and it just feels like a bit of a loss. And so just so you know, it's like you get to sort of revisit that. And because let me say this about you. It's like you have 2 aspects inside of you that are dedicated to family. And there's no doubt in my mind that you're just an amazing mom. And that it's something that you just love to do is nurture and shelter and support and encourage and inspire. So like there's no doubt in my mind, like it's not a coincidence because it was buried, like that was buried. And so no doubt that that's part of the reason that you get to revisit it in this year, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, I mean, like I made I made a commitment to the universe because I was so young when I got pregnant with my daughter that I basically said that I won't have any more children. I'll just have my daughter. And do you know something? it was one of the things, because I was just a great mom. But it was like always this, I should have had more kids. You know, I should have had another child. I should have, you know, like, but I just never did. And then my granddaughter comes along and she's beautiful and she's just this beautiful soul. But just so you know, it's just like all I know is that it's surfaced, and it's surfaced in a 9-year, and it's connected to 2012. So just so you know, 2012. Okay? Good?
Yes, thank you so much.
You're so welcome, and send some of that love and nurturing to not just to your hubby and your son, but to you.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, bye, love.
Bye.
Bye. Like, don't you think that's kind of neat? Like, that to me is kind of neat.
Cool.
Okay, sweetness.
All right. We got the number problem fixed up with the other one.
Oh, okay. This is it?
Yeah, for Lisa.
So-
Lisa.
Oh, okay. Listen to Lily. She's getting a little bit louder, isn't she? Thank you, my love.
You're welcome.
Hi, is this Lisa?
It is.
Hi, Lisa, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I'm good, thanks. Can you spell your name for me?
Lisa.
Okay. And your birth year
1967,
and the month
April
and the day.
27.
Wow. 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Wow, that's so cool. Your mother's birth year
1933,
and the month
October
and the day.
the 4th.
Okay. Okay, I'm just looking here. I'm going to do a calculation for you. 10:04. So when your mom was pregnant with you, she wasn't in her body. So
Okay.
what was going on with her? Do you know at the time that she was pregnant with you?
No.
Okay. Were you the firstborn?
No, I was the 4th, but I think there might have been a miscarriage in there.
In between the last born and you?
That I don't know.
Okay.
I'm not sure.
Okay, because there's no doubt in my mind, like you understand that your mother had a lot of fear
Okay.
and a lot of anxiety, especially when
Okay.
it came around her children.
Okay.
Okay, and that,
Yeah.
and there's no doubt in my mind that you would pick that up with her, like you would feel that with her.
Oh, okay.
Okay,
Yeah.
just 1 second, I'm going to do a calculation. 12, 2, 4. And so this year for you is connected to 2012.
Okay.
Okay, so do you know what was going on with you in 2012?
2012. No.
Okay,
2012. No.
okay, hang on. I'm just doing another calculation for you. 2012 and then 2003.
Okay.
And then 1994
Okay.
1985.
No, the year I graduated high school.
Okay. 1976. And then, let me see. 19, yeah, there was something going on with your mother when she was pregnant with you. I guarantee it. So whether she experienced some sort of loss prior to her pregnancy with you, that you would have absorbed her wounds. And so there's no doubt in my mind that you would be very sensitive to other people's wounds and that you would feel responsible for trying to fix it all. Like, does that make sense to you?
Yeah.
And this
Yeah.
is like, it doesn't even matter whether it's one of your family or a complete stranger. Like you have this real empathy towards other people's suffering, and that you absorb it like a sponge.
Yeah.
Okay, and so and there's no doubt in 2018, what was going on with you at that time?
2018.
Mm-hmm.
So how many years ago that was from now? Is that awful that I can't even...
No, that's okay. That would be how many years? 1, 2, 3, 4.
4 years.
Yeah.
Could have been a move.
Okay, and so where did you move from?
One house to another house. So big changes.
Okay, and so why did you move?
Try to simplify.
Okay.
What?
Okay.
Our house. The house was really big.
Okay, and next we're going to your father.
Okay.
Birth year?
Born May 25th, 1930.
And so you understand that he had like a bit of a wall.
Yes.
And that he was not available to you emotionally.
Okay.
And that, you know, he would protect his emotion. And then if you look at the relationship between your mother and your father, right? And that, and you see how you would have taken that on.
Yeah.
And so with the division of the family, who did you side with?
Probably my dad.
Okay, and so why do you think you sided with your father?
I just think I'm more like him.
Right? And there's no doubt in my mind when there was conflict, it's like you sided with him because if not, it was quite possible that he would be by himself. He would be alone.
Yes. Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
why.
I don't think she ever understood him.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
still to this day, like she doesn't understand what his emotional issues were.
Right.
And she still doesn't get it with me.
Right. And so is your father still alive?
No, he's not.
Okay, and so when did he pass?
November 4th, 2000.
Wow, and so he in his death, he restored himself. Would you agree?
Yeah.
Yeah. And that there's no doubt in my mind that he didn't want to half be here. That he was a very proud person. And that he didn't want to be half here. And there's no doubt that there'd be a past life. And it's kind of interesting. So after your father's death, how did your mom respond?
I don't know.
And don't you think that's interesting?
Mm-hmm.
Like when you say you don't know, what does that mean?
I don't know how to, I don't know. Interesting question.
And think about two years after your dad's death. What happened?
Yeah.
Something happened.
2 years after?
Yeah.
Oh.
Not the year of his death. It would have been 2 years after his death. Yeah.
So that would have been 2003.
Yeah.
Yeah, which you mentioned 2003.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, well, it's just interesting. Like, it's just so you know, because this is a big year for you. This is a hermit year. This means that since 2012, that you have walked through 9 spiritual lessons in the last 9 years. And that there's no doubt in my mind that there's a part of you that definitely is trying to let something go and trying to move away from that. Like, does that make sense to you?
Yep.
And there's no doubt in my mind that this is old. Whatever it is tied to other things that may come in a very different form. Like, does that make sense?
Yep.
Yeah, and so, like, just so you know, it's like you're in a powerful year. And what's really interesting is it's where you sort of look at where you want to be responsible and where you don't want to be responsible and who loves you. And there's no doubt you're trying to draw a line. Like, would you agree?
Yeah.
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 And so who are you trying to draw a line with?
Oh, like separate from?
Yeah, like just kind of almost renegotiate a contract with. Like if I were to ask you in your life, who are you trying to renegotiate terms of a contract with?
I would have to say it's probably with myself.
Yeah. And but it's what's really interesting, it would have been triggered by certain people. Like we don't just, wake up one day. There's usually an event that happens. Like,
Yeah.
do you know what I'm saying? And so it's
Yeah.
really being able to see where that is for sure. Are you a married person?
Sorry?
Are you a married person?
Yes, I am.
And your husband's name
Peter,
and birth year
1966,
and the month
November
and the day?
22.
And that's kind of like you understand that your husband definitely, when he gets upset, that he has a difficult time expressing his emotions.
Yeah.
And you see that in some ways he's a little bit like you can see the same in the energy of your father.
I should see it more of my mother, though. Isn't
Yeah.
that funny?
But see, what's really interesting is your father would have absorbed his emotion. And just like with your husband, would absorb it. Do you know what I
Okay.
mean?
Yeah.
Like both
Yeah.
the reaction of it is very different, but
Okay.
they both kind of withdraw their emotion, if
Yeah.
that makes sense.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and it's just kind of interesting because then what your job is to figure out, and you're very good at it, you'd be able to figure out what their needs are, but they wouldn't have to because you would fill in the blank.
Okay.
Yeah, and so like even that's no doubt. There is a male that is passed around your husband. Who is the male that's passed around him?
A brother and a father.
Yeah, and so there's no doubt in my mind, like it feels like it was a complicated connection between the brother and the father. Like, would you agree?
Yeah.
That there's a history there.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to do the dice with you, but just so you know, whatever it is, like it's almost as if you're trying to shed. So I want you to really think about what you're trying to let go of. Next
Okay.
year, it's like you're trying to kind of stir things up a little bit. Like it's like you want to kind of make some movement in your life. And so I want you to think about what you're no longer willing to do, like where you're no longer willing to put your energy. And it almost feels like you're ready for it. It's like stirring up everything, if that makes sense.
Okay. I have 2 kids. Can I ask about their birthday?
Sure. Your eldest child's name?
Brad,
Brad. And birth year?
1999,
Okay. And the month?
October 2nd.
Okay. Wow. That's kind of neat. Like you understand Brad is a natural born leader.
Mm-hmm.
And that he definitely, like he keeps his emotions very close to him.
Yeah.
And that like there's no doubt that he gets stuck in his head.
Mm-hmm.
And there's times that he it's not like an addictive, but he tends to obsess about things.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no doubt. Your other child?
Jody.
Okay.
Jodie.
Okay. And birth year
2006,
and the month
March
and the day.
13.
Wow. And like opposite children. Like
Yeah.
like completely opposite.
Yeah.
And so is Jody female or male?
Female.
And you understand that she absolutely has a very different emotional relationship with you.
Okay.
Like, do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, there's a different, like,
Yeah. Like, think about it. In 1999, you had your son, correct?
yeah.
And then
Mhm.
7 years later, you have another child.
Yeah.
And you see how that would have an impact on your son.
Yes.
Okay, and do you see how, because of that, it would have an impact on their relationship? And what's just really interesting is there's no doubt in my mind that your daughter came and she gave you, she sort of fulfilled something in you that you didn't receive from anyone before.
Oh, interesting.
And just so you know, your son would feel that.
Oh.
Like, do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyways, it's just an interesting dynamic. Okay? And it feels kind of similar with your husband and his brother and his father.
Oh, okay.
Okay? But I must go. Lloyd's been banging the bell for the last. But anyways, just so you know, it just kind of opens things up a little bit for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, like, there's no doubt in my mind, if you look at how you perceive your mother and how you perceive your father, I guarantee that your father would not know how to communicate certain things, so your mother would communicate on his behalf. And so she was sort of viewed this way, and your father was viewed in this way. Like, do you know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Like, she sort of delivered messages that he wanted said, but he was unwilling to say himself.
Yeah.
Okay, just so we're clear. So she looks like the heavy.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm just here to say, like, she was just the messenger in a lot of ways. Okay?
Yes.
Thank you so much, Lisa, for
you.
connecting. Yeah, you're most welcome.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Oh, Lloyd.
Yes.
Last one.
Last one.
Lily can feel it. Oh, give it a rest, Lil. Okay, let me move paper. I gotta move paper. Excellent. Thank you, my love. Let's rock and roll it.
Okay. Come on.
Here you go, my love. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hello.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you, Lindsay?
I'm good, thank you. Can you spell your name for me?
Yep, it's Christine. Chrisistine.
Okay. And so, like, you understand that early in your life that you experienced a trauma or some sort of fracture that has kind of shadowed you your whole life.
Yes.
And that this fracture, like, if you look at your first letter, which is such an interesting letter, okay? This is your cornerstone letter. So it's the introduction of who you are. Now, if you look at the letter O is all about wholeness, completeness, universal flow. It's all about that. And do you see with the C that there's a break, that there's a fracture? Okay? And then if you look at the next letter, do you see how you have your spine, and that one stick that looks like a little bridge? Okay, so this lets me know that although you're fractured, that you still have this need to connect to other people and be kind of like a conduit of healing for other people as well. Like, does that make sense?
Perfectly.
Okay, then the next letter right beside, so you have the fracture letter, then you have the bridge letter, and you see in the letter R that there's kind of like, there's a part of you that keeps your emotions very close to your body. And then if you look, it's kind of like this pocket, right? And then you notice that there's a stick that connects to the earth. Do you see that?
Yes.
Okay, in the letter R. This lets me know that even though you were wounded, even though you had suffered some sort of trauma, that you sort of hold your own emotion close and you still give back to the world. Like, does that make sense to you?
Yes.
Okay, and then do you notice you have two eyes? Okay, so this lets me know that there's no doubt you have a very generous spirit, but it's hard for you to receive. Okay, and then if you look at your last letter, which is a capstone letter, this lets me know that you definitely have a very deep spiritual curiosity, that you're a student in this world, and you're also a mentor and a teacher. Would you agree?
Absolutely.
and that there's a part of you that feels that you need proof in whatever it is that you bring to your work.
Mm-hmm.
Like, does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay, like, what if you're wrong?
Right. Correct.
Because here's like your medicine comes from what brought you. Like if you look at your name or your all your letters, it is a spiritual path. And so do you see this is the difference between a natural born leader, and this may be somebody who sort of kind of dictates and sort of moves around and makes decisions for other people on behalf of those people. And you see the difference with a spiritual leader, and their medicine comes from where they've been.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Your birth year?
1964.
Okay. So this is the energy of the record keeper. So this lets me know that for you, that you are in a past life, there's no doubt in my mind that you were persecuted and that your soul has memory of this. So what that means is there's a part of you deep in your spirit that has a fear of exposure. Like, does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Yes,
And so,
it does.
and that you're highly intuitive, and that for you, part of like where your intuition comes from is you can feel when things are like, not only can you feel it in your body, but you can sense it just by looking at or being in the energy of other people. Does that make sense?
Yes.
And you see that your mind definitely is like 10 steps ahead of any given situation.
Oh, yes.
And that your mind and your stomach is completely connected.
Yes.
Okay, so if I were to ask you, what feeds what? Is it your mind that feeds your tummy, or is it your tummy that feeds the mind?
Probably been a little bit of both.
Okay, but if I were to, it's rooted somewhere, right? Because this kind of thing that you've got going on doesn't change. It may alter. So if I were to ask you, where do you believe it's rooted? Do you believe it's coming from your mind to your tummy, or from your tummy to your mind?
I think it's from my mind to my tummy.
Okay, cool. And so, and you understand that there's a cord that connects that.
Okay.
Okay, and that cord, I want you to see if you can touch base or tap into the energy of the cord that links the mind with the tummy.
Okay.
Okay, so can you?
I'm not sure if I can do it like in the next couple of seconds, but I
I know you can. Okay, like I know that you can, because it's always there and you know it's there.
Okay.
Okay, and so I want you just to go to the energy that connects your mind to your tummy.
Okay.
Okay, and there it's going to feel like a string. It's going to feel like a cord. And so I want you to tell me, what color is that cord? Is it light or is it dark?
It's green.
Okay, is there movement or is it just kind of dormant?
Very slow movement.
Okay, and so do you feel at this time that it's in a dormant state?
I would say it's slower than it has been.
Yeah, isn't it neat? Like, I mean, and trust me, the moment it needs to, it's going to absolutely just kick back in. So, I mean, one thing I definitely would do is I would sort of sever that connection between the mind and the tummy, okay? Your birth month?
March.
Okay. So this lets me know that you're highly intuitive. This is also the seed energy. So this lets me know that you're a teacher, that you're a mentor, that you're a manifester, that you have the ability to be very creative. And there's also no doubt in my mind that you feel that a part of you just is here just to give of yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yes.
And so, and you understand that there is sort of that whole beautiful dance of balance of being able to give and to receive.
Yes.
Okay.
No,
Yeah, it's like, so it's such a beautiful balance, really. Your day?
6th.
6. Yeah. See, with you, like, we're going straight to the mother's birth year.
1941.
Okay, and the month
October
and the day.
1st.
Okay. And so you understand that for your mom, that there's like that there would be a part of you that would just try to calm her spirit,
Yes.
and that she had a lot of fear,
Yes.
and that there's no doubt in my mind that you were highly aware of what was going on with her. Like just by looking at her, you could tell if she was okay or if she wasn't okay.
Very much. Yeah.
And you understand that as a result of that, that you would absorb her emotion when she was upset. Okay? So what if I said to you that part of that fracture we talked about at the beginning of the reading, what if I were to say to you that probably 70% of that fracture belongs to your mom?
I would agree. I've been doing a lot of work since they both passed about what is mine and what is theirs.
Right.
And, it's been very interesting.
Yeah, and see, like for you, you're the record keeper of both the parents. I mean, and so it's really being able to see that, like, and you do it all the time. Like you literally can read people and you change and adjust according to what you pick up from them. Would you agree?
Yes.
And would you agree that your mother did the same thing?
I think so. She just didn't really have any idea that that's what she was doing.
Yeah, and I'm here to say that she absolutely did know, because if you look at her sign or her numbers, she has a 10, which is a 1 0 and a 0 1. So she was a mirror. And so she would definitely go to both of those and she would just change but she knew that she was doing it. And most people that have that mirror, like that 1 0 0 1, they aren't really challenged. Like most people just let them sort of, change it, and they don't really ask, direct questions. Like, do you know what I'm saying? Yeah. And that's what I find is just so interesting is like, you have the opportunity to restore that, not just for yourself, but for the energy and the legacy of your mom. If that makes sense to you.
It does.
Okay.
It does.
Just 1 sec. I'm going to do a calculation here.
Sure.
Wow, this is a big year for you. This is a 5-year. This is a spiritual truth here. This is where you get to renegotiate, and it's where you get to enter into kind of new contracts. It really speaks about your life's purpose and seeing what it is and where you want to put your energy. It's also being able to know that, there's no doubt. Like I lost my father last year, and now my mom's 99, and watching her, it's like for 2 years. And you know what I'm talking about. 2 years I've been watching my parents fail. One die, one, mind you, she's a tough charge here, and she's not going down without a fight, but it's like, it just changes everything. It changes everything. And so no doubt in my mind, this is your year, being able to just have a conversation with your mother, have a conversation with your father, and just say, I'm going to release myself because I know that I have more work to do, and it just feels like you're going to step into your power more this year than ever. Also, the other thing, like you understand that you take things personally.
Sometimes, yes.
I mean, no doubt, easily wounded and very aware. Like, right away if someone likes you or if they don't like you, like just being in their energy in 3 seconds.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, for sure.
So what do you do when you're not feeling that they like you? What do you do?
I really let it roll off because I know I can't please everybody. I generally just kind of, envision put my net up and just keep myself grounded, and it kind of just is what it is.
But see, what's really interesting, and I mean this in the most respectful way, is like it sounds really good, but it does follow you. Like, you know what I mean? It does kind of follow you. So one thing, and there's no doubt that this is, and it's not a judgment, it's just that, like, think about it. Think about how often you check to make sure that you're doing things in a way that, you're not going to cause a stir or that people aren't going to be upset. Like, you understand, you're very mindful of that.
Yes, very, very much so.
And I'm here to say, quit it. It's like, listen, like some people get me, some people don't get me. And you want to know something, like, it's like with you, like there's no doubt. I guarantee that you know, there's a part of you that has to prove to the world that you know what you're doing. And I'm here to say your medicine comes from inside of you, because you are the shaman, you are the record keeper, you are the priestess, you are the mother energy, you're the intuitive, you're the empath, you're the muse. So you do not have to prove any of your worth or ability to anyone else, because you see, if that's what is going on in your spirit, then anything you do in order to sort of promote your work is coming from a place that is just where you don't want to ruffle feathers. Yeah. And like, I mean, there's no doubt in my mind, like you would just double check everything. 2016, that would have been a big year.
Yep, I quit a job. First time I've ever quit.
Okay, so why did you quit?
Because I came to understand that I had been living out a pattern that I recognized from the time I was young. And it was almost like things got really bad in that place, and I was being personally persecuted, and I couldn't figure it out. And then I looked at the patterns, and I was like, oh, that's why I need to leave.
Okay.
And then it was like it was laid out in front of me, and I said, goodbye.
Yeah. And all I'm here to say is that it's like, it's so amazing for you to be able to see that that was the first time. Without that situation, you would not have been able to come back into your power. Like, did you hear what you just said? What you said is that you felt that you were being persecuted. And so this is what's so amazing. Like, this is one thing I have to say to you, is you and I both know this. It's like when our store went down, and our store, because of the COVID, our store supports my daughter, supports Lloyd, supports me, supports two of the most amazing people on the planet. And it went down, and Lloyd came to me and said, Lindsay, you need to go online. And I said to him, I can't do this work. Like, I cannot do this work. I've done it, but I've done it in my basement. I've done it in my home. I've done it when I'm face to face. I cannot do this work. And he said, well, you're going to have to. I said, you know, we need to stay viable. I said, if you want to stay viable, you go on. I'm not doing this, right? And it was so neat, because he just said, I'm just going to leave that with you, Lindsay. And so sure enough, a couple of hours later, I went to him and I said to him, if I can sit and watch my dad die, I can do anything, just like you.
Yes.
And that's where you're in this moment, love, it's listen, you know, do I believe that you were under the influence of the mother and the father? Yes, I do. Do I believe that you wanted to please him? Yes, I do. And that's why you need to call their essence in and say, I was an amazing daughter. I was an amazing daughter, and now I'm just going to bust it out. Like, do you hear what I'm saying?
I do.
And I don't want you to be afraid. It's like, just do it. I mean, just do whatever it is that you need to do, which is very cool. And I mean, you have a very powerful spiritual path. Okay, hang on. 1998.
Yeah.
Okay. 1989.
Yeah, 1998 was the year I went to the paramedic course.
Okay.
And divorced.
You were divorced in 1998?
Well, I left my husband and went to college.
Yeah, and like what's really interesting is that, I mean, priestesses don't get married to get divorced. Like, do you know what I'm saying? So, and what's really interesting is it showed up in your path. So again, like I talked to another person tonight, and it's like you have to release yourself from your vows.
Right,
Like, do you know what I mean? Like, there's no doubt in my mind. So did you have children in that marriage?
Not in that one, the one before I did.
Okay, so just so you know, it's just interesting, right? 1989, 1980, 1971.
Okay.
So do you know what was going on with you in 71? You would have been how old? You would have been 7.
7, yeah.
Okay.
Nothing that jumps out for that.
Okay. And then 16 years old?
nice childhood, good family, like nothing big that I can think of at 16.
Okay, was anything going on with your mom?
1980, when I was 16, actually I would have met the guy who became my husband, who I divorced in 1998.
Oh, that's so
So
neat, eh? Yeah, like just so you know, like I mean, it's just kind of interesting because he's in your path as well. So
Yeah.
these are cords. So I don't know if you've ever had cord work done, but you would be like, and there's no doubt in my mind that there would be a part of you that needs almost to go back there because you have two aspects of the priestess inside of you, and you also have the mother energy as well as the muse energy. Then there's no doubt you would have carried those. You would have carried those. And think about it. I mean, think about when you got married and then you got divorced and then you got married again and then you got divorced. It's like really being able to see how that would have an impact on you.
Yeah.
And so this is the year where you get to make peace with that because you're in the year of 5, which is the year of vows and marriages and all that sort of stuff. Let me do your dice for you, just a sec.
Okay.
So with you, there's a door around you, and you also need to come out of your comfort zone because you have double 4s. So double 4s definitely speak about coming out of your comfort zone. You also have a 1. So this lets me know that there's a door in front of you. And so it's really being able to connect with the energy of the door. Once you connect with it, is the door open? Like, is there a window? Can you feel the energy of the door? And the door for me is opportunity, okay? Then 3, which is all about manifestation. So this is about growth, it's about expansion, it's about all of that. And then the 9 really speaks about your medicine. So it's about the expansion and change and coming out of your comfort zone. So whatever it is that you're doing, and there's no doubt in my mind that you're like a ritualist, so you kind of have things all lined up. This would be a good year to say, no, I'm not doing that anymore. I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to, like Lloyd and I went into, a spiritual store, and I had no idea that I was going to pick up a beautiful little deck that would just open me up to a whole different dimension of stuff that I've had inside of me. Like, do you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Yeah. So I don't want you to tidy everything up. Like, you understand that you tidy, you have everything underlined, everything dotted, everything organized and all that.
Oh yes, it's a good way to hide.
Yeah. And I want you just to mess it up. It's like, no, I'm not doing that. Like, I'm just not going to. It's like, come out of your comfort zone and trust me. It's just you deserve to feel that. You deserve to feel the freedom. And I mean, with you, when I'm doing the past life readings again, or even when I'm doing the planets, because there's no doubt in my mind that there's planets involved with you as well as all your nodes and all that stuff. So I mean, but just come out of your comfort zone this year and you're going to love it. And say this would be your year for yes. Yes for everything. Okay?
Perfect. Lindsay, thank you so much.
Yeah, you're most welcome. And I mean, like, we're talking about a ritual. Like, we're talking about a ritualist that is very, very old. And so, but the other thing too is shedding a lot of the doubt. The doubt, the insecurity comes from the mother, and you took it from her as you were developing inside of her body. And so the best thing for you to do is just a release of letting all of that go.
That makes perfect sense.
Yeah,
Perfect sense.
it's a perfect year to do it because it's about honoring her experience, but freeing yourself so you can bring new growth into your work.
Right. Oh, that's fantastic. I can't thank you enough, Lindsay.
Yeah, thank you so much, Christine. Talk to you
Take
soon.
care.
Okay, love.
You bet.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, it's just very interesting. She's got, it's just a good year. Like, there was a lot of 5 energy around us tonight, Lloyd. So, yeah.
So cool.
Yeah. So, thank you very much for people that came for a reading. We really appreciate your support. I'm going to come back and pop on with my new cards. I'm so excited. And I'm going to just kind of work the astrology and the planets and the nodes and the houses and all of that just in my own unique way. So I would love to see you guys at that point.
And don't forget, if you were too nervous to go publicly doing the free reading, Lindsay does do private one-on-one readings as well. Currently on the video chat mode during this COVID shutdown. As soon as the region goes orange, we will be doing face-to-face readings again.
Yeah.
So in that case, you can just contact us at the store.
Yeah, and just for the record, you know, like tonight, like everyone who received a reading tonight, I was just saying to Lloyd, they all came in the energy of 5s and 2s and 9s, and it's like this beautiful spiritual birthing. And anybody who's getting a reading from me, like honestly right now, it's like you are just inspired. It's like the muse energy around you. So just go with it. I mean, I'm excited for sure. But anyways, now we get to go. Our dogs want to go for a walk. Thank you so much. Love you all. Have a beautiful evening, and we'll see you next Tuesday night. Oh, and we also have to do the draw for the mala, but we'll do that. Just not tonight. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks, guys.
Bye for now.
Take care.